Alright everyone, welcome back to the shop, to Bun's World of Fun Stuff. Alright, what we're doing on today is I'm finishing up the Warlock. I've got all the tail gear already set up, ready to rock. So the elevator's set up, rudder's set up. Of course I've got my dual rates, or my tri-rates, I've got 3. So that's all set up, and now I'm working on the wing. What I had to do is I completely forgot when I was building the landing gear, it wasn't fully set up. It was close, but it wasn't. It took me about 3 hours to get it, everything all dialed in and set and locked in place. With, pretty much with a Dremel grinding the little flat spots on the piano wire just so that it can't pull out. So what I did, let me show you in this way and see if I can zoom it in a little bit better so y'all can see it. 3, 2, 1, zoom. That'll work. Alright, what I did is I came in, and how well you're going to see it through here, through that camera, I went ahead and raised this up. I raised it up, I got a piece of plywood and a 16th ply, cut out some little slots. I raised one side up to angle it forward a little bit more, and I left one so that it is sitting exactly the way I set it up in the plane, off the plans, the modified plans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my little squares, and I'm just going to bump it up against the outside and see how much closer I moved the wheel, the front of the wheel, which will be the same as the hub itself, closer forward to the front. So there's a couple ways we can do it. We could do it imperial, or we can do it metric, and I'm going metric. So for you English speaking folk, it's metric. Alright, the side that I shimmed it up forward is 18 millimeter, which is approximately 3/4 of an inch. The original side is at, sorry about that, 27 millimeter, which is, it's the way my little brain works, it's over an inch. It's probably about 1 1/16. So I moved it forward, about 1/4 inch or so. It's better than having it back 1/4 inch. So we're just going to go ahead and leave it like that, so I can, so when I do the ground testing, because I know that even that 1/4 inch farther forward is going to help, because it's, pretty much you're trying to keep as much weight on that tail as possible when it's on the ground. So the farther forward you can put the wheels, the more weight you're going to have on the tail. So I'm going to go ahead and shim the other side up, and we'll see how that goes, because there's not too much more I can really do to this, with the exception of trying to build new landing gear with some piano wire, and have it so that it just barely misses the front of the buckets. And I'd really rather not do that. I mean, typically if you're going to bend the landing gear, it's going to bend back, not forwards. So, but right now we're going to leave it like it is. I'm going to get the rest of the stuff done. I can't do a ground test outside today because we got rain coming in. So, and the weather's really sketchy, and the grass is too tall. So, we'll still save that for a later date. But as soon as this one's done, I'll at least have it sitting on the ground, and maybe I could do a little taxiing on the concrete and see how it goes. We can always give it a shot. So let me get this set up, and then I'll get everything set up outside the best I can, even with my little fuzzy dead cat over my boom mic. We'll go ahead and get that set up and see if we can at least get a little action on the ground. Alright, it is done. I still have not spooled up the engine, but I know it's going to work. I just haven't tightened up the prop yet on it, so I don't want to do that. Let's do a little walkthrough real quick, because I'm battling the wind and I'm trying very hard not to lose the airplane. So let's go ahead. I wanted to find out what the CG was, so I went ahead and weighed it. It weighed 82.2 ounces, so I'm not too concerned about the 0.2. 82.2 ounces, and if you've never done this before, you take the wingspan, which is 51 inches, and you multiply it by the chord, so it's 9.5. So we are at 484.5 square inches divided by 144 equals 3.36 square feet. So I took the 82 ounces, divided it by the 3.36 square foot, 24.4 ounces. So the wing loading itself is not bad. 24 ounces per square. Got a gust of wind coming in. So 24.4. She'll be a little hottie when she comes in to land. I just got to make sure you're not going to float the thing in like a Piper Cub. So it's going to be more like one of my warbirds, because I've got a couple World War II planes, and you about know the speed it's got to come in at. So so that I'm not concerned with. Let me show you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see any difference with it now from one of the earlier video, but the landing gear is farther forward, and it makes me happier. So it should not be as much an issue, because right now when I pick up the tail, she's got a little bit of weight to her. Not as much, still not as much as I'd like, but better than it was before. So what I do when I balance a plane, whether from upside down or right side up, this is my little thing. It's the way I do it. It works well enough that it's you're never going to get an exact balance measurement, but you're going to get so darn close that you're not going to have an issue. So I originally set every plane up at 30. So 30% of the cord, that's where I put the CG balance point at. So I just come in with a piece of tape and put one, I don't know if you can see it, put one little drop of thick CA over the marker. That's what my fingertip touches. So in these things, because it's balanced now, all you got to do is pop one corner and they come off real easy. So, and it's done. What I had to do up front, let me get the tool I forgot. So what I had to do up front, I'll get it. Everything is as far forward as I can get it. The speed controller is far forward. I mean, I knew I was going to have to do it anyway. I was hoping I was going to be able to balance better with the battery farther forward aft, but it still works out. So what I did up here is originally I had the radio battery sitting up here. I just moved it here all the way up front, and I made a provision for that when I was cutting these little formers, that I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to get that little 700 milliamp battery pack under the front. So that's all the way up against the firewall. The main battery sits up against the firewall. The ESC, I can't get it any closer than this. I could put it underneath the battery, but I can't get it. It's got to still sit in this bay. Everything was designed for this ESC to fit in this bay. So that's about it. I got my typical little mess I got to clean up. But no, she's she's pretty much ready to rock. So, all right, it's set up. Let's go ahead and spool it up and just see if it's going to explode or if it's going to want to go forward. I hope the motor's good. I'm gonna go in and try to figure out what it is, because it's not gonna be out of sequence, because it's either gonna run forward or backward. It almost seems like one of the windings on the motor could be a bad solder joint on my part, could be a bad solder joint on their part. I'll tear into it and figure out what it is and let you guys know. Alright, found the problem, and as you can see in here, it's running. So what it was, and see how well we can see this with the camera. I don't know if you're going to see it with the darkness. This one right here, it had a bad solder on it. It was a cold solder. So what I did was, you can see it's a different kind of wrap. It's the same stuff that I use. I just went in and just unsoldered it, and then made sure everything was clean, and then resoldered it, and everything worked fine. So that's all that it was. I've never had one with those. I've never had a problem with those from Hobby King. So this is the first. So anyway, that was the first one that I've ever had from Hobby King that had that issue. I've had other cheap ones in the past where they came from the factory with a bad solder. So, and it was strange because when I first put this together, I had fired up that motor. It was so with the whole 6 months or whatever of use, and this motor just getting pushed around the shop. Finally, I think when I was setting it in here and changed the position of this, that was when that cold solder joint popped. So anyway, let me get the prop and everything back on again. We'll drag her outside and see what she does. All right, let's try that again with the hopes that everything's going to work out good this time. I don't foresee a problem, but you know, every time you don't foresee a problem, another problem shows up. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's just say there's not going to be a loss for power. So just as long as it takes off well and lands well, there shouldn't be a problem with it. So I know it's going to fly once it gets up in the air. It's got to do with that landing gear in tall grass. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching the build series on the Warlock. So I will keep you guys up to date on any changes to that. When I do the little ground taxi test, I'll bring you guys back in for that, and then also for the maiden. So seeing that it's done, I got to get back to work on the Albatross. So see you guys next time I'm down in the shop.